Hi, I'm Roy Collin, and welcome to the show. I've got six podcasts, as you'll see behind me. A speaking podcast where I'm talking to speakers, coaches, authors, and even marketers. I've got the meditation podcast where I'm talking about meditation, breath work, yoga, chakras. I've got a load of meditations from 1 minute to 2 hours. I've got the Learn Polish podcast, and the episodes are about 5 to 10 minutes, and we deal with everyday topics like going to the dentist and things like that. The Awakening podcast is where I'm exposing fraud and corruption, but with solutions. And I've had guests like Mickey Willis, Dr. Peter McCullough, David Icke, and Thomas Rentz. The Crypto Podcast is where I'm exposing fraud and corruption in the crypto blockchain technology. So, about cryptos and NFTs, but also on the good things and how to invest safely. And finally, the Podfather, which you see there on my t-shirt, the podfather.me, is where I'm helping podcasters either to start a podcast or existing podcasters how to grow their audience. And most of the episodes are short, but they're good tips that will help you improve your show. I also have a store on all of my podcasts, so you can go in. There's some of my products and also some of the affiliates that I do, and that helps me with the show. You'll find everything on bio.link/podcaster. And I'm also helping people start a podcast as well as doing a podcast tour. So you'll find everything on the link there. I'd like to thank my sponsor, DanielPacker.com. He's helping people with fear, doubt, and anxiety. He's got a 90% success rate, and you only pay if he helps you. So be sure to check him out, danielpackard.com. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Be sure to comment on the social media and let us know what you think. You don't always have to agree, but as long as it's not abusive, the comment will stay up. Welcome to the Crypto Podcast. You can find all our episodes on thecryptopodcast.org. My guest today from Canada, award-winning dentist, public speaker and thought leader. He has created the crypto investing program to allow beginners get started. Please welcome. He has it there, Daniel, but it's really Dr. Daniel, I believe. Yes?
Thanks, Roy. Thanks.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. So, I know that you're a dentist, but I think your kind of journey is kind of stock exchanges. So let the listeners know a little bit more about Daniel, how you kind of got into everything.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. So in my former life, I was a dentist, but I wasn't a regular dentist. I was the type of dentist that did really comprehensive dentistry, really big cases. One of the things that I learned really quickly is if you want to do that type of dentistry, you have to be able to explain things to your patients in a very clear and concise manner. And dentistry can be very complicated. So over the years, I developed really good communication skills. So I was able to explain complex things in a way that people could understand, and especially when it comes to the mouth and doing that type of dentistry. So as my career in dentistry evolved, I went from practicing dentistry to really coaching and teaching other dentists and really focused on some high level dentistry, very complex dentistry. People would call it cosmetics or functional, really a combination of both. So when the mouth wasn't working right or completely destroyed, I'd help rebuild it in a way that it worked well but looked absolutely stunning. And I love that. And that was my former life. But I sold everything and did a lot of coaching and consulting afterwards, and eventually dipped my toes into crypto. And when I dipped my toes into crypto, I fell in love pretty quickly. And after spending a copious amount of time learning crypto, and I found it for some reason very difficult to learn. And and things I wouldn't say always came easily to me, but with some work I could always get things. But crypto was very hard for me to get for a lot of reasons. I couldn't find anyone to teach me when I went online, which was overly frustrating. And I was getting information online in bits and pieces. I was trying to put everything together, but every time I would, there's always something missing and something missing. So I spent a lot of time just in the understanding phase of crypto and realized by the end of it, a couple things. Number one, this is not something that's easily taught. Number two, it's incredibly lucrative, the crypto industry, yet it's also terrifyingly scary from, there's so many people in the space that are out there to get you, and that is true, to steal and rob and scam you. But also, technically, like there's all these little things that it takes experience to learn or mistakes to learn, and these mistakes in crypto can be costly. So by the end of my own self education, I realized, this is this is, an incredible opportunity for people to learn, and there's nobody helping people get through it. And that's when I committed myself to creating, some sort of process or program to help people through it. I spent a lot of time, beating around different ideas and testing different models, and landed on, what the crypto program is today, which is a 4 week it's a 4 week course program. It's live, so I do 4 live sessions like this, virtual sessions with the group, and it's one on, not too many. I don't like big groups, and every session's about 90 minutes and it's jam packed full of lot, and it's over 4 weeks. But in between every week, there's a full-time Discord. And what a Discord community is, Roy, you're familiar with Discord at all?
Yeah, I am indeed. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, most people are, some people aren't. And for those that aren't, it's like a WhatsApp group. So if me and Roy and all of our buddies run a WhatsApp group and we're all messaging each other, as opposed to having just one spot to message, what Discord does, it gives you different channels to message on. So Roy and I and all of our buddies could have one for like restaurants, one for movies, one for TV shows, one for, places to visit. And then you kind of limit the conversation to that channel relative to the topic. And that's what Discord is. And the beautiful thing about Discord is, in crypto, you learn at your own pace. So you get to post questions and I moderate the channel. I answer those questions. And that helps all the learning continue in between each session. And you'd be surprised at how much there is to learn. But after 4 weeks, I get people to a place where they're comfortable and confident investing in crypto, but in the type of investing in crypto that I specialize in. I'm not, crypto is a very wide field, Roy, as you can imagine. If you ask 10 people how can you make money in crypto, they'll give you 50 different answers. I specialize in just sort of one really narrow field I call bull run investing, and it really is for people who are busy, people who have careers or jobs or have other things to do other than spending 24/7 in front of a computer screen. So I'm not sure if you want me to go into that, Roy, or
Well,
where
I
you want to
suppose I'll
go from
just
here.
touch on what you've said because my own
Please.
journey, like it was 2014, somebody was introducing me to Bitcoin. But when they mentioned wallets and everything, I was like, I'm putting it on your phone. I was kind of like, no, I didn't get it. So then I was hearing more about it and I started buying a load of books, but I was buying like Kindle versions and everything. And there was nothing that made sense to me. And I just kind of forgot about it. And then later, and in the end, I kind of was just learning bits more, and it was like Revolut was allowing you to buy crypto, but it wasn't on your own thing. But I was able to see that okay, you can buy this. They were charging like 1.5%, which wasn't bad when you think of it, and I could see increases in that, and like I I don't know, it's like with a wallet, I had to have somebody physically come because it's panic. And it's like a friend of mine invests and like he makes millions on it. And he had to tell me, go away, get this, get the ledger, came over, this is what you do. And I was, once I had that, it was grand. But without that, you can read a book. But I think like what I actually like about you is because I've looked at a lot of your videos, you can actually simplify it because there's a load of people out there trying to do this and they're making you more bamboozled than you were when you actually started listening to them. So I suppose let's kind of go from the start. Like I mean, you've got your four programs. Obviously, we're not going to cover the whole lot because it's on the
Yeah,
thing. But I suppose the first thing is probably maybe explaining to people because I mean I know I've got experience, but there's also people coming in the whole time listening to this, and it's probably
100%.
good for them as well because even if they do, if they're experienced crypto people, a lot of them can't even explain it to their parents or their brother or whatever. So I think just explain it to them first of all, and we kind
For
of
sure.
yeah.
For sure. Like I work with people who know absolutely nothing about crypto or the littlest bit, up to people who have been investing. And a lot of people in my course have already taken, like you said, Roy, courses and pro, but they're not speaking to them. They're speaking to them where they want them to be, but they're not backing up and covering all the nitty gritty little details that it's just people just don't understand if they don't have the foundation. So let's just start off with what the heck is Bitcoin, right? It's a cryptocurrency. It was made in 2009, and it was supposed to basically it's supposed to be like a digital representation of money. And the reason that they did it is because it's decentralized. And what that means is banks are centralized. They're owned by a corporation or a company. And when we have our money in banks, they're controlled by one entity. And what the philosophy of Bitcoin was really about was a decentralized system where if we have Bitcoin, we're all using Bitcoin all around the world. Nobody is controlling it. So if you have your money in bank in America, for instance, and the bank goes under, yeah, they guarantee you up to a certain point, but the rest of your money goes away. And there are countries in this world where the governments and the banks have shut down and taken the entire country's population's money with them. They just shut down the banks there. And that's happening in different countries around the
They've done
world.
it in Cyprus, which is in the EU, during the kind of, bailouts. And
Yeah,
people just kind of look the other way. I mean, that's in the
it's
EU, and they just
massive.
empty people's accounts and as if it
Imagine your
was their
whole life
money.
savings. Yeah, your whole life savings for you or your family, or you're working your whole life and saving, and they just go, okay, here we go, it's gone. And that's not the only country. It's happening in many countries. So that was sort of like the philosophy of it. Now, listen, I'll be honest. Most people like myself, and as much as I enjoy that concept of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, I'm using cryptocurrency as an investment vehicle. For me, and I'm all about, decentralization and all that, but at the end of the day, I can invest my money in the stock market. I can invest my money in real estate or into a business, right? Or into crypto. Well, I'll tell you, I've done the stock market and I am the worst person ever to follow. Like, if you ever want to lose money, just do what I do in the stock market. Or if you want to make money, probably just do the opposite. But it doesn't matter. Whatever I pick in the market, it just didn't work. And it was so much guessing for so little return. With crypto, I have so much more um, control, and I find it more predictable. But let me explain. So let's just go with the stock market. Roy, would you agree most people are kind of familiar with the stock market?
Yeah, and as what I have seen with people on the stock market is they're 24/7 on the thing. When they're investing a lot, they can't switch
Yes.
off, which is that's not investing. That's losing your
No.
time.
So let's get right at it. So when I talk about crypto, we're talking about bull run investing. So in crypto, you could do something called day trading, which is what Roy's talking about when you're trading on the stocks or on crypto all day long, and you're doing that in leverage trading. That's not what we mean. That's not what I focus on. And there's people who do like all this stuff called staking, mining, yield farming. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is this, Roy. Imagine tonight the stock market crashes. Boom, everything goes down. Roy, you call me up tomorrow. You go, hey, Daniel. I go, yeah. You go, I want to invest in the market. It just crashed, right? So all the values went down. We go, okay, Roy, what is it you like? You go, I love Apple. I got an iPhone here. I love it. I drive a Tesla. I like Tesla. I'm on Facebook all the time. I like Meta. But Daniel, I hate Google. Okay, Roy. Well, let's buy some Apple. Let's buy some Tesla. Let's buy some Meta, which is the Facebook. But don't buy Google if you don't like the company, right? And when he goes to on the stock market, what he does, he looks for what's these things called tickers. Tickers are the four letters on the stock market that represent the company. For instance, Apple is AAPL. Tesla's TSLA. And those tickers represent the company in the stock market. So he'll buy a bunch today, and we'll talk about it. He'll buy, he'll wait. And we know after a year or 2 or 3 or 4 years, as the stock market rebounds, the value of all the stocks that he buys, the Apple, the Tesla, Meta, will go back up to where they were. So the difference between where he bought them and where he sells them when they're really high after a few years is Roy's profit. And that's how, that would work in the stock market. That's exactly what bull run investing is. Bull run investing in crypto is this. So in crypto, think of it like the stock market. Those symbols you see, BTC, ETH, all those letters, think of them like tickers in the stock market. They just represent the coin or the token, the asset, the project in crypto. So don't worry about like LTC. Those letters are just like they're just like the tickers. And what bull run investing, the way we do it, the way I teach it is we find the coins and tokens that we love, just like Roy loves Apple, or for instance, could love Apple, Tesla, and those things. We find the projects that we believe in that we think are going to do really well. We wait until they're dipped at low values and we accumulate them. It's called DCA, dollar cost average. We buy a bunch of the projects that we believe are going to do well, and then we buy them. But in crypto, you can't just buy them and hold them. You buy them and you send them to safe storage. And that's what Roy was talking about, getting a ledger. It's called a cold wallet. It's a really safe place where you park your assets to prevent it from getting robbed and whatnot online. So you buy them and you send them safe storage. You buy them, you send them safe storage, and then you wait. And the really cool thing in crypto is this: there's a cycle to it. There's what's called a bear cycle and a bull cycle. a bear cycle and a bull cycle. And a bear cycle is kind of like when the stock market crashes. It's like, wow, everything is really, really, really low cost right now. And that's when we want to buy. We're on dips, we're on pullbacks when the cost is really low. When we buy our coins and tokens, and then we send them to safe storage and we wait. But when this bull market comes, we talked about the stock market recovering and going back up. The bull market is that on steroids. When it comes, it doesn't just go back up, it goes up exponentially. And that's when we move them off of safe storage and we start to DCA out and we start to sell them off in portions as it goes up and up and up. And then that's where you get your tremendous return in crypto. And that's why I call it bull run investing. We're investing for the bull run. It's not going to be a long cycle, possibly. All the experts are saying it should be done by the end of 2024 or by Q1 2025. So that's basically another not 6 or was it 8 to 12 months. Not going to be the longest time ever, but it's a perfect time to be able to get in, invest, wait, have them go up, sell, and then get out. So that's a strategy that I use. Now we have within that, there's a lot of really cool other strategies I help people do, but I don't want to get too much into detail on this podcast, but rest assured, the people that I'm working with that I've started earlier have done incredibly well to date, and the people that are starting now are situating themselves to do ridiculously well in this upcoming bull run. Roy, does that make sense?
No, absolutely, absolutely. And then, like, how do you investigate which ones to do? Because, we're kind of familiar with rug pulls and everything. Or did you just stick with the safe ones?
No, so really for me personally or for my clients, I'll answer both. So for me personally, I have a diverse portfolio. So when I got into crypto, the two narratives I believe are going to do the best in this bull cycle, gaming and AI. And AI is tricky because a lot of them have already kind of really done, like some of the AI plays I've been in are already up like 50 to 70x from where they were during the bear run. So just to put this in perspective, so if you put $1,000 into a project and it's up 50x, it's not 1,000 is now 50,000, and that's before the real bull run has started. So a lot of the AI plays have already kind of done really well. But those are the two narratives. And narratives for your listeners are it's basically a category or it's an overarching theme. Crypto is very funny. It really works by narratives. It's like what narrative catches. So gaming is called Web3 gaming, video games, and that is a massive industry in terms of crypto. AI is massive. Those are my two favorites. Now, there's a lot of other plays that are going to do well, and you can't do everything in crypto. So within those narratives, I have, picks that are quote unquote lower risk, right, with good returns, and all the way to higher risks with much higher potential returns. So I diversify my portfolio from a spread of different things. How we find them, there's a lot of different ways. Like in terms of, I don't particularly go through the process of assessing coins and tokens. So I don't get into specifically doing the research myself. I work with different projects and different teams that have people doing that. So usually my picks are quite well vetted in terms of the picks I pick personally are vetted through other contacts and sources. So I've curated a very, very good list of picks. Now, in my course and program, I try not to tell people what to do. I teach them how to do it. I also teach them, like Roy asked, how to find the good coins and tokens and the picks that they want to find. And then after, if they want more one-on-one or more direct advice, we talk about that. But during the program, it's not a do this, do this, do this, do this. This is how to do it. This is how to find the ones you want to do. And if you ask me questions, I'll always answer. But it's not, I'm not going to tell you what to do because I don't want to be responsible to say, hey, you should invest in this. And if something happens in that project, well, then Daniel, you told me to do this. No, but I will teach you enough that you will be confident on your own to find what you're interested in, and also intelligent enough to do it in the correct way that you don't get burned. We're not going for, Roy, we're not saying throw all your eggs in one basket and go for a grand slam. No, no, we're talking about, we're doing this intelligently. I'm working with a lot of professionals, engineers, project managers, medical, dental, people who have full-time careers but want to do well, and they're not in it to, high risk. I want to play a meme and make 1,000 return. No, they're like, well, teach me how to be strategic, how to, ensure my money is invested correctly in a way that I can see really good returns in the next, during this bull run.
And like when people are getting involved in this, how much do you kind of recommend, or I suppose, of their spare cash? Because like you mentioned, the stock exchange, I remember years ago, EMC, a friend of mine was in that, and there was loads of people making a killing. So I went into the main stockbroker on the main street in the city that I'm from, and like I think it was about 20 grand's worth that I had invested, and then I saw it kind of coming down, and they were up for fraud, the company that actually done
Wow.
it. It went to the court, and it was supposed to be guaranteed 20,000. So I thought, even though it was a few years later, I'll get my money back. And the judge ruled in favor to give the liquidators, PricewaterhouseCoopers, the money, and I got something like 2 grand back. And I was like,
Yeah.
and there was even people that had invested, and as it went up, they were buying their fancy cars and everything, and then it dropped and they didn't have the money for the taxes.
Wow.
So they got, they got caught. So like the stock exchange property, I got wiped out with property because I made the mistake of putting everything into property. Everything was property.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I know millions got wiped out with that. So when you look at this, because it, nothing is guaranteed, and I agree with you. You shouldn't be saying, "Hey, invest in this," because if you
Yeah.
do it, they don't come along and give you a share of it. But if it goes minus, they'd nearly go
You're
on
the
the
you're the
internet to
problem.
kind of make you look bad. Like, so I totally get
Yeah.
that. But like from your experience or recommendations, like what percentage do you think a person of their, I suppose, investment pool that they should start dabbling in this if they're
Oh,
starting off?
I'm the wrong guy, man. This is, I am all in. I love crypto. Listen, thankfully, I have some real estate from my previous life and whatnot, but my funds are not going that direction. They're going this direction. So, I mean, I am the wrong guy to ask. You'd probably ask somebody like yourself, Roy, who would be more prudent. I've seen behind the curtain of crypto. I've been in it now. I've seen how lucrative it is. And when done correctly, it's not unsafe. We're not going to I'm not putting myself in a risky position where I can get wiped out if there's a rug pull or if a coin or token goes down to zero. I'm diversified in plays that I feel confident in, that I've already seen how they've played out, and I'm very happy with the results I've had to date. I'm very excited for what's coming. So for me personally, I'm all in. Like there's no, but I wouldn't tell anybody else. I tell anybody else, you know what? Educate yourself, educate yourself, educate yourself. And when you're educated, then make the decision. Because, Roy, when you go through my program or any program worth its salt, and you start to understand, and it's all the evidence is there. You just go to last October, you look at the charts from last October to today. And by the way, you guys, looking at the charts is not hard. It's really simple. They make it seem so technical and so hard. It really isn't. All a chart says in October, this thing was worth 5 cents. And then you see it, watch, for instance, go from 5 cents in October to like mid-March, it's up to $1. And you're like, wow, okay, 20 times 5 cents is $1. So that's 20x. So if I put in $1,000, it would be worth 20,000. Now, because of the pullback, what was $1 is now down to about 8, 10 cents, 15 cents. It's like, okay, I saw it go up 20x during this pre-bull, which is really the bull. Now it's come back to a level almost where it was. If I buy some, we know during this next bull, it's gonna do way more than $1. So it's like, it's not hard. The math isn't hard. It's all the evidence is there. My clients, one guy messaged me there. He's like, "Am I doing this right?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, I can't comprehend the returns that I'm looking at." I'm like, "Yes, Tony, these are right. You are doing the math correctly." It's like this thing here was 15 cents. It's now $5. It's down to about 30, 40 cents. He goes, I should be grabbing it. Yes, load up, because when the bull run comes, it's going to blow past $5. You're getting crazy returns, and it's not fairy tale. It's all right there. And then there's different techniques too that help people when it goes up. It's called rotation of profits. Take out your initial and then find something that hasn't already went up. And we start doing that. And we're taking, a 10 or 20 grand seed money, and now we're getting 30, $40,000 worth of assets, and you still have your initial seed money. It's incredible the things we can do with the right guidance and the right coaching and the right mentorship. But it's not la la land. It's crazy, Roy. So how much you invest in, you will decide that after you learn. Invest in yourself, invest in your education, invest in your understanding. And when you understand crypto and you see it, you can always go slow at your own pace, but then you're in control because you have the knowledge. And I always say knowledge is power, especially in crypto. I want to give you the knowledge. And once you're armed with that knowledge and you can see crypto the way I see it, and you see all the opportunities, then you decide, hey, I want to put in this much or more. It's up to you. I'll never tell you what to do, but I'd love to educate you enough that you can make those decisions for yourself with confidence. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I would add to that, I would say the use of knowledge is power.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
And on what you said, because like when I was doing it first, it was with the Revolut, so it was kind of I could just go into the account and on the phone and watch it. And I had put on my head, all right, I'll wait till it goes to 5x and then I take it out. And it went to about 4.5, dropped back down. So I didn't lose money, but I got.
yeah,
But one of the earlier guests had told me that he'd take out like 25%. So that's kind of similar to what you're doing. You're watching as it going up because you can't really, we don't have a magic ball to go, okay, it's going to go up to X. And if you do that, you get caught. So it's like, I love your strategy. And then you're watching other ones. So you're just constantly, if you don't need the money.
100%.
So it's a fantastic strategy.
Yeah, you go up 2, 3. I don't even care if you're 2x, 2x, 3x. Just take out your initial. Now you have that. Now you have your initial, which is your initial investment. So if, let's just say you put in 5 grand in this thing, and now it's 20,000 or 15,000. Take out the initial five, and we look for the next five. Put that five in. That goes up 2 or 3x. Take out the initial five, and you're rotating your capital, developing these free assets, and you just keep doing that over and over again in all the plays. And I'm helping people take their initial capital, and I'm expanding it for them. So it's not just 50,000 in the market or 20,000 in the market or 5,000 in the market. That 10,000, for instance, your initial capital, now you put it in, you got free assets, and you're rotating into another one, and we can take that 10,000 and create $50,000 worth of free assets and still have your 10,000. And all this 50,000 is in play now in the market. It's such a volatile, fun thing. But again, Roy, you hit the nail on the head. Not the use of the knowledge is power, and you have to get the knowledge. You have to get the knowledge. You have to spend the time, invest in yourself, in the time, and put the time in to get it. And once you get it, it's very, very, very cool. It's fun. I love it. I love teaching it. I love doing it. I enjoy it. This is such a good time right now where things are in a sideways channel, and Bitcoin did a bit of a pullback. So all the altcoins, you guys, altcoins is a fancy word for alternative coins, alternative to Bitcoin. So there's Bitcoin and then altcoins, which are alternatives to Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin goes down a little bit, these altcoins go down a lot. And when they're down a lot, it's like that stock market crash we talked about. That's a great buying opportunity where you buy and you accumulate, and then you wait for them to go back up, and they go up fast and they go up a lot. Roy, you seen it?
No, absolutely, absolutely. And like
Yeah,
with, I mean, like I mentioned the ledger, what I'd like to touch on is kind of just the wallet, first of all, and you might just explain it, but the exchange, because I'm finding it's very easy to buy the crypto with fiat money. But when you're trying to take it out, like, so if you're keeping crypto and if I want to send crypto to you to me, and that
yeah.
is grand. But it ain't that easy taking it out. And, the regulation seems to be getting worse and worse. And some people think they don't know nothing. But the way that it's done, all the information is going to the FTC. And it's like, you have to be careful.
Yeah, 100%. So I have a system. I have a system for handling all that, right? I have a two flow chart. Step one is how to move your money from your bank account or from yourself personally online. I have a whole flow system there, and I have a flow system to get it out. Did you want me to talk about it just
I
in
think
general perspective?
because
For sure, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just say I'm an average person who's never invested online, and I'm like, hey, I've got my, my whatever. I've decided I've got $20,000. I was going to go put in the stock market. I heard Roy and Daniel talk about this thing, and I don't want to be in the stock market. I'm going to go educate myself in crypto, and now I'm ready and I want to invest in crypto. Great. So when you have money, you're the only ways you're going to move it online is you're going to e-transfer it, you're going to wire it, or use a Visa. So before you do that, you have your money with yourself. To move it online, you're going to go first to the country you live in, and you're going to Google crypto exchanges that are approved by, for instance, Canada or the UK or whatever, Australia, whatever country you're in. So you're going to find an exchange that your country endorses and goes, thumbs up, we work with this exchange. This exchange is called an on-ramp exchange. This is where you on-ramp your money into the crypto world. This is not what you're trading with. This is a big mistake people make. So you're just going to move your money when you sign up for this exchange. It's like signing up for a bank account. They're going to want your ID, your passport, your driver's license, your address. They're going to take a few days to approve you. They're like, bam, you're now approved. You have an account with us, and your country likes us, and we work with you. We accept your money, your fiat, as you call it, which is your local currency. So you send your money onto that. Now that exchange has your money. You're going to swap your money for something called a stable coin. And a stable coin is just a digital representation of the US dollar. And that's all. So I'm in Canada. I find an exchange my country endorses. I send, for instance, $10,000 Canadian to the exchange. Now I buy stable coin. It's called USDT, USDC. So 10,000 Canadian gives me about 7,000 US dollars or 7,000 US in stable coins. Now I got $7,000 in stable coins, and that is a digital currency. That's sort of like your online money. That's what you use. So I have these stable coins. Now I'm like, I got a couple options. Let's just say I don't want to invest in anything. I just want to store the money for now and invest later. So I'm going to move it from that on-ramp exchange, that exchange is approved by my country. I'm going to move it into either a cold wallet, like Roy brought up. This is a ledger. I have one here too in the box. So this is a ledger. This is what it looks like, a little USB key. So I'll move it from that exchange onto a cold wallet, and it just stays there. Or I'll move it from there onto a clean version of a hot wallet. So what a wallet is online, you guys, is just like the wallet in your back pocket. You pull out a wallet, you open it up, you got money in it. So online, there's two wallets. There's what's called a hot wallet, which is just a virtual wallet. You just open up on your browser, you create one, and you move your money in there. In a hot wallet, it's pretty easy to do and it's free, right? And it's free, which is why people love them, right? But they're not as secure as a cold wallet. A cold wallet, like we mentioned, like there's Trezors and Ledgers, they cost a couple $100, but they're more secure. So it's just a more advanced version of your wallet. But it doesn't matter whether you have a hot wallet or a cold wallet. Cold wallet, the reason they call it cold, it's not connected to the internet. Your hot wallet is. But you're going to move your money there, and then you're going to store it there. And that's where it says store. But let's just say, no, Daniel, I got money, I want to buy Bitcoin. This is what I want to buy. So you have that stable coins. You're like, okay, I got stable coins. Where can I buy Bitcoin? Well, you can buy it on a centralized exchange. And this is where people get messed up. Okay, wait a second. I have an exchange that I exchange my local currency for stable coins on. Yes, but that's usually not the best ones to do your trading on. Go to a really high level exchange. You go to a website called coingecko.com. And again, it's all explained. It's all out there. It's not hard. And they have all the top exchanges in the world. And then you just open up an account with a big one. There's like Binance, there's Bybit, there's OKX. There's a list, there's a plethora of them. You just find one that accepts your country, you open up, and then you move your stable coins from your on-ramp exchange onto the centralized exchange. You buy your Bitcoin, and then you wait. You can keep your Bitcoin in that centralized exchange, just like a bank account. You can move it into a cold wallet, you can move it into a hot wallet. We talked about all these things, or you just wait. Wherever you store it, you wait. When Bitcoin goes up a lot, right? If it's still on the exchange, you would swap the Bitcoin back for stablecoin, send it to the one that works with your government and your country, and then they would swap that stablecoin into your local fiat back into your bank account. Roy, does that make sense?
No, absolutely. I
I
like
could go into more
no,
detail,
no, no.
but
I
without the
like I
diagrams,
love the way
it's
that you've explained it because obviously over the years I've
yeah.
understood that, but it's very difficult for most people to explain the way, and you've just done it in a lovely way that like
Yeah, it's not straightforward.
people,
It's
yeah.
not it's not intuitive. So you got to take your money from your bank account, you got to move it into an exchange approved by your country. Once that money's there, you swap it for something called stablecoin, which is a digital version of the US dollar. Now that you have that, now you move it into play. And you move it into play by putting on a centralized exchange and then buying what you want to buy. And then you can just wait it there, or you can buy whatever you buy and store it, like we talked about. And then that's the safe storage. That's when you wait. And when the bull run happens, you move it off of safe storage back into the centralized exchange. You swap out what you bought for stable coins. You move the stable coins off the centralized exchange into the exchange that your government works with and your country works with. Then that stable coin, you sell it back into your local fiat, and then you take that cash and you move it into your bank account. And that's the flow. Now, we can also talk about decentralized exchanges and hot wallets, and why you can't always use centralized exchanges is because some of the stuff you want to buy isn't listed on a centralized exchange, listed only on a decentralized exchange. And if you just want to know what a decentralized exchange is, for any of you who've traveled, when you leave your country, you go to another country, and you've got like $100 American, and I'm in like, you know, Vietnam, and I want the Vietnamese currency. I just go up to these little like what are they, like these little vendors. You see them everywhere, right? And they're the exchange people. You give them $100 cash US, and they give me the local currency. That's all a decentralized exchange is you connect your hot wallet to this decentralized exchange, and then you swap whatever. If you've got a stable coin for the coin you want to buy, you basically just swap it, and then leaves your hot wallet, and then in comes what you bought, and then you disconnect, you walk away from this exchange, and then you have the new thing in your pocket, what you just bought in your pocket. It's no different than that. I do a much better job obviously explaining it. I feel a little bit it's easier to see with diagrams. But at the end of the day, you
No, but
can't buy
it's
everything on a centralized exchange. You need a decentralized exchange. So if I'm buying this really cool pick, and it's like, wow, it's not listed anywhere on the centralized exchange, only on decentralized exchange. Well, then I take my hot wallet, I connect to that decentralized exchange, I swap my stable coin for this new pick. Let's call it Roy, ROY, right? And Roy, we all know is going to go. It's going to be a big pick. So we buy Roy, and then we disconnect. Now we have Roy in our hot wallet. It's like, wow, okay, now I own that asset. I just traded something. That's all decentralized exchanges, right? Does that make sense?
no,
I think.
absolutely. And I suppose
Yeah,
like if we can just touch on a few things that people should be aware of. One, don't buy like the ledger on Amazon or something like that because people can be selling these things and have like, their code to
100%.
scam you. So buy it direct from the actual supplier. And the other thing is on the exchange, like somebody mentioned recently, the book market, that because they can just change one letter and you could be putting in your details into the wrong site, a scamming site. And I mean, I've had guests on one guy lost over 500,000, another guy, he was just sitting down, he said, and he wasn't paying attention and he got caught with the domain name. There was one little letter off and he lost 100K. So like,
Let me give you
maybe, yeah.
let me give you guys some help. First of all, I wouldn't say I got robbed. I messed up and got scammed. I can't blame them. I was a stupid person. Buyer beware. In crypto, it's your money, and if you're not watching your money, people are going to rob you. So I'll give you a couple examples. Touch on what Roy talked about. Number one, there's fake discords and fake servers, fake Telegram, fake everything. So I went on for some online support into a Discord, and someone popped up a link. They're like, "Yeah, just go to our help desk." I click it. I go to the Discord community with thousands of members and all the help people and the admin, and I go through this process, and they're taking me here and taking me there. And at the end, they're like, "Oh, well, just connect your wallet, and we're going to do this thing for you. We're going to fix the problem." I connect my wallet. It's not working. He's like, "Well, put in your passcode." I'm like, "Well, no, that's a bad idea." He's like, "Listen, this is monitored." He knew everything to say, and I wasn't. This was early on in my crypto. My dad always says, "Nobody, you learn your lessons by paying the price." I end up putting in my secret recovery phrase, and they drained my wallet instantly, and not the 20 something thousand that I lost because there was over 20. I didn't know back then to have a clean wallet and a dirty wallet. I didn't know about safe store. This was in my learning phase. I had one wallet that I connected to things. They drained it. Now forget what I lost. The value of that wallet today, hundreds of thousands, from what I bought was lost. So that's number one. Never trust anybody online ever, 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 ever. And I cover this so much in my course. Number two, CoinGecko will be your best friend. There's two websites, CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. I talk about all the time and I teach. You never type in a URL in crypto. Mark Cuban was, everyone knows Mark Cuban, the big investor. He
Shark
lost
Tank.
yes, 870,000 US. Why? Because he went to a he went to a fake website, typed in his credentials. They sucked it out, went into the real one. They emptied out his wallet. Now, of course, it's Mark Cuban. He laughs like, "Well, good one, good thing they got that one. The other one had 3 or 4 million in it." Well, I wasn't laughing, and I didn't find it funny. I was crushed, and I felt violated. But it's that simple. So you go to CoinGecko. Every time I'm going to open up any anything online, I never type in the URL. I go to another website that has those URLs and I click the link to make sure I'm on the right one.
That's
On
clever.
top of, oh no, I've got a whole list of security stuff. You guys, there's so much to it. Every time you see on Twitter or on X when they're announcing stuff, so you're going to watch all these tweets. And by the end of it, they're going to say, real tweets end here. And you're going to have every coin and token have a fake version, fake contract. So the crazy thing in crypto is if there's a token called Roy, for instance, there could be 4 different ones, all with the same name, and they make them look exactly the same with the symbol. So you might think you're buying one, but you could be buying the wrong one. Now they're going to send you free stuff to your wallets. You're going to open up your wallet and be like, oh my God, I don't remember buying this. I've got all this stuff here. Don't touch anything in your wallet that you didn't buy, because they have these things there. It's called smart contracts, where if you engage and you try to sell this coin or token that got dropped in, or NFTs in your wallet, you unknowingly, you
Bless you.
unknowingly, thank you, sign a contract that allows them, it's called a wallet draining contract. They'll drain your entire wallet. There's so many little things in crypto.
I got NFTs given to me, and it was
Yeah.
like, but they were like soft porn, and I was like, what the hell is this shit? And then there was
Yeah.
people saying, hey, you just need to pay for the gas fees and stuff like that. And I just never. But I mean, I didn't know that if you click on these things and try to sell, that they have like
Oh
coding in
yeah,
it.
they're dropping fake tokens now. You're going to get fake tokens in your wallet, not just fake NFTs, or they're not fake. All the coding so advanced. They are geared up. Every time you join a group, you're going to get 50 new friends who want to be your friends. They're not your friends. They are not your friends. Even Telegram groups, they're all designed with 16,000, 18,000 members. These are all fake. They're just look exactly like the real one. So they'll take I joined a Discord community the other day. The moderator, they'll take the moderator, the person who owns it. Let's just say their thing is, Roy dot podcast. So they'll do Roy dot podcast with an S and have everything else the same. And they'll reach out to you. Hi, I'm Roy. I just want to say hello, as if they're the moderator, and you don't even know because it looks exactly like the right person, and they're going to figure out a way to scam you. It is treacherous. And I don't say this to scare people. I say this because I don't want people to get robbed the way I got robbed and other people get robbed. It's disgusting, right? And I tell you, a little bit of mentorship, a little bit of guidance, and help you figure it out will go a long way. It doesn't have to be me. I tell anybody getting into crypto, it doesn't have to be me, but go find someone who's going to hold your hand and look over your shoulder. Because if you want to invest, you don't want to get robbed. It takes all the fun out of it. And by the time you figure it out on your own, if you're trying to do it on your own, the bull run's going to be over, right? Just go get somewhere, go get some accelerated learning, go get it in, learn what you're doing. And then if you're excited to do it after you learned and you're educated, then you can pull the trigger and do well. But yeah, educate yourself, arm yourself with information. It's crazy, Roy.
No,
Have you
definitely.
been scammed yet? No?
No,
God,
but
good, good.
well, I mean, I could have been with the NFTs, but
Just
like
like that.
with
Yeah.
the like say the Telegram and Discord, I mean, I get so many messages because like you go into a group that you know or somebody invites you in, and then people they start reaching out to all these different things and they go, yeah, I just and
No,
it
it's all
becomes
fake.
yeah, but it becomes so annoying. Like I have seen, I got to hate Discord, but then it's like when it's done, like you said, because I was in like a sovereignty group, and it was like just all the people in it were there to learn sovereignty. And so
Yeah,
people had all the documentation. So, for example, if it was crypto, you could have the white papers, you could have all the different things.
yeah.
If it's done right with the right people, but unfortunately, how do you know if right a scammer comes in? You just think because even people can fake like on social media, people just copy their pictures and everything, and they go, "Look at my links." They just create the exact, and you can buy followers, so they could even have more followers than anybody. You can buy
Yeah,
anything, and then they come along as if there's somebody. So yeah, I mean,
it's crazy.
I think when something happens, like it's a good lesson because now you're protecting everybody because you never want that to happen. And like I one thing that I find is I still go into panic every time I transfer because I'm like, did I do it right? Did I do it right?
Right? Yeah, yeah.
How long does it take before the panic disappears?
Well, until it shows up. Yeah, I know there's gonna be a lot of holy shit moments in crypto in terms of, you press the button, you're like, whoa, is that gonna make it there? See, for your audience to understand, crypto is very unforgiving. You can send something to yourself, but if you do it incorrectly, that money disappears forever. It goes in la la land.
So,
And
for
I teach
example,
about
just to
that.
let people know,
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
could copy the code and forget you might just miss one little letter and it goes into like space.
You could send it on the wrong chain, thinking like, well, it's USDT to USDT, but it's on the wrong chain. They don't accept it. It's like this. It's like it's the weirdest thing. But coming back to your Discord, there's a little thing you should do. It's turn off direct messages. So you go up in the Discord, you go into settings, and you turn off direct messages so nobody can direct message you. You just turn that off. You'll never get another one. Every time I join one, I go to the settings. I turn it off so nobody can reach out to me.
Okay. And
Right?
what
I
about
I don't.
Telegram? Is there something because like with Telegram, there's just so many. And the worst thing is because I'm podcast, I do get fans that write to me, and sometimes people are sharing brilliant things. So and like
How do you?
I don't want to
Uh,
close the door on everyone, but it's like it's
yeah.
99% of just scammers.
I don't have answers for that, man. Like I don't. It's just it's such a shitty thing too because these communities I think are full 80 to 95% of great people. And you get 5% of bad actors are called bad actors in crypto. These are people who aren't good people who are out looking to get you. You get, this, they say one spoils the one bad apple spoils whatever. There's a saying, a
The
bad apple
cake or
spoils a
something.
bunch. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. The saying goes, but and that's the way it is in crypto. Like, because people want to get a hold of you, Roy. I'm sure. But the Telegram thing, I haven't figured out yet. I'm on Telegram, but I don't do any direct messaging through Telegram. It's strictly for me to be in groups and whatnot, and it's just tough. It really is tough because it's such a beautiful space, and it's just got infiltrated by so many people. Do you guys know? And I'm going to say something, Roy, it's probably going to break your heart. So I do these. So when people follow my program, or sorry, they follow my free content. I'm on Instagram, by the way. Is it okay, Roy? Talk about Instagram for
No,
a
of
sec.
course,
I
yeah.
got so much free content on Instagram. My URL or my handle is, these are the letters, IAMDR dot Daniel. I am Dr. Daniel. IAMDR.Daniel. I am Dr. Daniel. I've got so much free content on there. So I put out the free content, and then people are like, well, we want more. Then I have this thing called a free training video where it's a free 40-minute video where I take years of research, and it'll save you probably 4, 5, 6 months if you're doing this on your own, and it's free, 100% free, and countless hours in front of a computer screen, explaining everything Roy and I talked about today, but in a much better version with diagrams and stuff with more detail. So I give them the free training. Then they go, well, can we chat? And we set up a call. On the call, over 50% of my calls have been people who've been ripped off. I get so many DMs from people who are like been robbed and robbed and robbed and robbed and robbed and robbed and robbed. And they've been robbed in so many different ways. Whether it's been like, hey, I'll invest your money for you, or this is the right project, or this is the right person who's going to help you, or this is the course you're going to take. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, and it makes the average person scared to take a step. And that's why I believe in so much in what I do. And I'm not alone. I'm sure there's lots of good people out there. But I believe in good people helping real people do well in a very scary space. And it's saddening for me because it's just hard. It's hard to hear sometimes. And we're not talking a few $1,000s. You know, people get sucked in, and they've got stuff like Roy where, hey, come invest with me. I'll show you. Just give me $1,000. They do 1,000. They'll show them their own account in their own name, and those have the 1,000 turn to 10,000 as 15,000. Then they send another 10,000. Now that 15,000 is 100, 200,000. Now they're getting their friends, and then they're like, oh well, do you mind if I take money out? No, not at all. There's a processing fee and there's this fee. You just have to send me $2,000. So I'll withdraw the 200,000 for you. Then they'll send them the $2,000, and then they disappear. Or they'll say, no, no, there was a problem. No, you made too much money. It's 400,000. I need another 2,000 to let the rest go. Then they'll be like, well, can I just get my own money? No, no, it's not how it works. And they keep going on forever and forever until you stop sending them money. And that's one of many examples. Many examples. It just never ends. And it's hard to hear, because on my IG I have I have a lot of people messaging, and some of their stories are hard, and I feel bad, but you know it's I do what I can to help the people I work with prevent this from happening. It's just a scary space sometimes.
And I think the beauty of that, as hard as it is, because you're constantly hearing things. I mean, like, that's the first I had heard. No, what you mentioned about the NFTs, that you can get caught with that. So, like, the beauty of that is you're learning from all the people, so that it's helping others, which in turn, when they do start to trust somebody again, and like on the exchange, because like a lot would be familiar with Mount Gox. I don't know, was that 2009 or 11 or whatever? Like, but loads of people lost their Bitcoin on that. But with the Binance, like, the finance of that, the regulation report was signed the company, not a person. So that's even fake. So I know a lot of people are using Binance, and that scares me, because I think there's a lot. Like, it should be to a stage that we can fully traceability of everybody that is controlling this. Because if you look at, say, like even FTX and everything, a lot of people, I know, kind of bounce back now and everything, but a lot of people lost so much money with with that.
I, I agree, Roy. I agree. I'm gonna, for your listeners, I'm gonna back up a little bit. So what Roy's talking about in crypto, when we talk about these things called centralized exchanges, again, a centralized exchange defeats the purpose of the philosophy of crypto being decentralized. So a centralized exchange is the exact opposite of decentralized. It means everything's controlled by one entity, whether it's a person or a company. So best practices, Roy, what I teach is we don't leave money on centralized exchanges. We don't. We move our fiat from our account into our onboarding exchange. We swap it for stable coin. We move it from the on-ramp exchange, let's just say, into a centralized exchange. We buy what we want. The second we buy it, we move it to safe storage, either a clean version of the hot wallet or a cold wallet. We don't leave money. It doesn't matter. You think there's nothing secure in crypto. Any centralized exchange, Roy just listed, Binance, Bitget, Best Buy, OKX, KuCoin. There's 100. Any of them could go out like tomorrow. Mexi, anything could tomorrow dissolve. Anything that's centralized could, just like a bank account, could go under, could be whatever. So we don't leave money on centralized exchanges. We don't leave assets. The second you do your transaction, we send it to safe storage. That's best protocol. Now, personally, I get lazy. I do leave funds here. I do leave funds there. That's what I do, but don't do what I do what I say, right? So when you become experienced enough, then that's your decision to make. It's a risk I've already accepted because I'm lazy and I'm busy and I'm doing a lot of different things. I'll be honest, I'm not perfect. However, if I stick to what I teach, I would never have one penny on a centralized exchange. Everything you do your transaction, you take it off. That's best practice. Roy is 100% correct. These things can go under and they're centralized. So the beautiful thing about crypto and why everyone gets worried, but why my clients don't, is we teach them how to control themselves like Roy does. You have your cold wallet, you're in control of. You have your hot wallet, you're in control of. There's nothing, you're not parking your money in a centralized institution that's possibly could go under. Correct, Roy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
it, like, uh, as we mentioned, when people are trading, sometimes they're sitting in front of the computer, and the strategy is kind of different, is kind of, but at the same time you're kind of keeping an eye on the market. How often do you recommend people kind of look at it without it being that they they forget about their children and stuff like that?
Oh, for sure. Listen, it's the frequency is different than the duration. I believe in a daily check-in. We mind our money. So we mind our money, which is a daily check-in. So it doesn't take long. Once you're set up, and the way we set it up is that we set up a trading view or a CoinGecko account where you have all your everything you've bought and you're interested in a list. So with one click, you open up your computer and you can scan through probably about 5 minutes the entire of what's going on. And within that 5 minutes, you'll have an overview of what's going on, and you'll say, okay, do I have to do anything today or no? If it's no, you move on, you're done. There's not much to it. It's just a daily check-in, 5 minutes. Now, if there's something, an opportunity for you, which is where something that you're interested in has dipped really low, that's your opportunity. Then you do a transaction, and you buy some, you send safe storage, and you're done. Or if something that you're in has already kind of moving up, then you're like, okay, I'll check in later on tonight or tomorrow. You'll check in tomorrow. Now, when it goes up high enough, you'll say, okay, I'm going to take some profit out of that, put that out there and do it. But it's just a daily check-in. I recommend a daily check-in. Listen, we're all busy. We're all busy, but this is, your investment. And if we put our $20,000 into a fruit stand down the street, right? I would probably if I was just down the street from me, I'd probably drive by every day and just have a look. Okay, make sure the business is running good, right? Like I wouldn't have to sit there in the stand all day. That's not what we're doing. We didn't open up the stand to like sit behind the counter, right? But I would check in daily, probably twice. I'd check in more if it was a fruit stand. The morning, the night, during the day. But with crypto, no, once a day, like you just get it set up. Spend all your time learning, educating, becoming powerful. You get the thing set up properly, and you just do your daily check-in at whatever time you want. You just check in and be honest, Roy. When people are playing or people are involved in this, they're going to have a hard time not checking in. It's fun because you're just like, oh, I just wonder what happened today, right? But it's fun, and there's some reading to do. And if it becomes like a bit of a hobby, it becomes fun. It doesn't look at some point it stops being work and it just becomes a little bit of fun, right? And that's the whole thing about it. It doesn't have to be hard, and you can put as little or as much time into it. I've got people who have no time. If you don't have any time, that's fine. Be part of a coaching group, right? Where we give you like, hey, pay attention, something's going on today or whatever. You're like, oh, okay, maybe I should check in. Like you don't have to, it doesn't have to be all in. Like these day traders, like Roy talked about, they're glued, but they're investing every day. They're doing this thing called leverage investing. It's very, very technical and there's a lot to it. I mean, that's fantastic. It's super, just not for the people I work with. The people I work with are probably like Roy. They've got, more things to do in a day than they have time. Right. However, they're intelligent enough to realize that crypto is one of, if not the best investment vehicles ever. And the opportunity in the next 10 months or 11 months is you'll never have, again, I mean, this could be potentially the last big bull cycle ever in crypto because of the mass adoption with the American spot ETF, right, that happened in January. All that mass adoption is saying, they're saying there's not going to be a mass exodus of funds post bull cycle. Sorry, guys, I'm speaking very crypto. What I mean is in America, there's something called a spot ETF that happened in January. And what that means is it's allowed the average American to go to an institution like BlackRock or a big financial institution and actually purchase Bitcoin. Now, the institution holds the Bitcoin for them, but they have an account that they've purchased Bitcoin. It avoids the necessity of opening up a hot wallet and a cold wallet and doing this exchange and this on ramp stuff. It avoids all that and lets them buy Bitcoin directly because that thing launched in January. There's been a mass amount of money going into crypto, specifically Bitcoin. So it's called mass adoption. It means the masses are adopting and accepting cryptocurrency as part of their world. Now, when there's mass adoption into something like crypto, what happens is people are unlikely to exit after the bull. So previously, when things go up in crypto, then they go down. And as they go down, all the money leaves crypto, which starts the bear cycle. So we're still going to have these bull and bear cycles in crypto, right? It's just predicted this will be the last big bull cycle because of mass adoption. It's unlikely after this bull, all the money's going to come out of crypto to the same extent it did previously. So they're calling this the last big bull, which is the last opportunity for us to make the crazy crypto returns we've all heard about in the past. The crypto millionaires, the cryptos this, like all these massive returns that we're situating and positioning ourselves up for success. This could potentially be the last year for it.
Very good. And what about, do you touch on like capital gains and what people should do regarding that?
Oh, hell no. God, my clients are international, man. They're all over the world. So I've got people in different countries and different time zones. And man, listen, that's all up to you. I know people have to do their own. I'm Canadian. I know a little bit about our Canadian stuff, but I'm no tax expert. I'm no, just, for me, it's just, I want to teach you how to invest, how to make a bucket load of money, and what you do with that money, what you do in terms of that. That's between you and your own world. I would never, that I would, that's not for me to meddle in. But
No,
thank you for
fair
asking.
enough. And another one that I've got kind of interesting answers from, and I'm curious because I know you mentioned prior to the call, you've got a lovely, beautiful child. That's
Yes.
so when you want to have, like, say, inheritance. I mean, nobody knows. I could get hit by the bus in the morning, and I want that my son and my children get my assets. And at the same time, like, not everyone can trust who they're with because it can all be beautiful. They're madly in love. And 5 years down the line, they're like, the scammers, they're just after emptying your wallet. And people are
Yep.
conscious of that as well. What's this? And like others would say, give it to your solicitor. I mean, I've seen solicitors robbing people's houses and everything. What is it something you touch on, or have you advice on a good way of that you can actually pass it on to your loved ones without putting yourself at risk?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what Roy's talking about is when you set up for crypto, what happens is you have to have an organized setup, because if I were to pass away, nobody could access my funds online. Nobody, because it's so layered with passcodes and this and secret recovery phases. So, we teach having two notebooks, and each notebook at the very minimum in the beginning, two notebooks, and each notebook, you know, a having all your information, your secret, super secret information, right? And generally, the people I work with, they store these in different places that in case their house got burnt down, in case they get robbed or whatever, that they're not easily accessible. What Roy's talking about is how do I ensure if something happens to me that all my, crypto wealth doesn't just disappear into crypto land, and how do I do that safely? Well, right now, me personally, I have a best friend who lives in another part of the country, and he's married with a family, and he's the one actually that got me into crypto. So he's got a box in his safe place with my name on it that his wife will know if something happens to him. She gets a hold of me. I'll fly there. I'll take that box, and I will ensure that she receives his entirety of his wealth. I have a box that my wife has that she will ensure he gets. He'll fly here, and he will take my box, go online, and then do what's necessary for my wife to get my wealth. That's as far as I've thought it out. I haven't gone any further than that. It's a sordid, morbid subject, but it's a very real question. It's a very real question. If something happens between me and my wife right now, she doesn't have no human being has access to what I have right now, other than myself. And the information for the right person is hidden in a box somewhere that only one other person knows about. And it's that's scary. I won't travel right now, Roy, during the bull. I won't be separated. I've traveled, last year comfortably, but this year I won't travel because of security reasons. There's so much stuff going on, and I don't want to be, and because you can get hacked, as you know, if you're on a public Wi-Fi, you can get hacked, even with VPNs, even with security. So there's, lots of security measures I take personally, that, we layer that into the course where I tell people as much as I can to be as safe as I can. I give them as many examples and ways to do it. But again, as you know, it's layered. This takes time and understanding and stuff. But I don't want to scare people. But I'm very, as you know, Roy, it's a very scary world. But there's so much money in crypto. You want to make sure your generational wealth is protected.
having said that, what do you advise, Roy? Because it sounds like you've asked these questions. What's the best answer you've heard, or what is your sort of like, of all your experience, how would you propose?
It's kind of maybe have four people and they, like, so if you have 20 keywords or 24, and they all have, but only one knows of another. So, it's not that they all know each other,
Right.
and
So
you could do
so
that as well.
but who would
But I
who would
like
who
what
would
you've done that
yeah.
because you've got somebody that, that, yeah,
He's like my brother.
yeah.
You know,
So
my
there's
brothers
some
don't know
people you
crypto,
would
so
just,
they
I mean,
yeah.
there's some people I would give them my bank account because I know they wouldn't take a penny. There's just when you know that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that's a good way. Like I like your strategy. That's
Yeah,
a good way
yeah,
of actually
yeah,
doing
yeah.
it.
I hate talking about it because he's married with three wonderful kids. They're all young kids, two girls and a boy, young. And I've just got a very young child. So I don't like talking about that much because it's kind of a morbid subject, but it's a real subject. It's a crazy world out there.
Better to
You
talk
know, who
about
knows?
it than going, yeah, my husband had 50 million in crypto.
Yeah,
Say
and
goodbye to that, like.
yeah, no, that's even worse. I'd rather get those hard conversations out, right? And yeah, it's such a pleasure, Roy. I mean,
Yeah.
so much fun stuff about this space, and you're doing such a cool job, and with spreading the word and stuff, and hopefully people enjoyed today's show.
No, definitely. And just finally, because this is going out in May 2024, so I mean, obviously things can change. What's the price point for the course? Like you said, is it like over 4 weeks and it's like in 90 minutes per week, or is it a couple of times a week? What's the
Yeah, well,
exact?
it depends. So the actual course, there's a 4 week program, there's an accelerated program, and then there's a VIPs. So some people, the 4 week program is 4 weeks long, four 90-minute sessions with me and the group and full-time Discord. The accelerated program is a condensed version of that, but it's a lot, and you better have free time because it's a lot to there's stuff, homework in between every session you got to do. And then for people who are already investing but have holes in their game and are like, well, no, I'm doing it, but some of the stuff I'm missing, I just do a VIP session where it's just a one-on-one where you send me all the things you need to know when I infill the missing pieces to make sure your game's rounded out, so without having to take the entire course, unless you have too many holes, in which case it's easier to take the whole course because the price isn't that much. I don't discuss prices online, you guys. It's just not my style. The best thing to do is just come to my website, cryptoprogram.ca, www.cryptoprogram.ca. Get my free training. You just opt in for it, and it's free, 100% free. Watch the video, and then if you want, I do a free 30-minute coaching call after, in which case you can, set one up. We talk. It's no charge for any of this stuff. I can answer all your questions. And then if you have questions about the program, the course, VIP sessions, coaching, then you just ask me that. I give you all the prices there, and then you decide. There's zero pressure. I'm not a pressure. I'm not a salesperson looking for sales. I'm so happy what I'm doing. I don't need to do this. I do it because I love doing it. So it's really simple. The cryptoprogram.ca, go to the site, type in your email, get onto the free training. If you like the free training, you like my style, book a coaching call. We talk. And then if you're interested in my programs, I'll tell you all the costs, ask as many questions you want. And if you want to do it, great. And if you don't, that's okay. You'll never have any pressure from me. And if you want free stuff without putting your name and email, just go to my Instagram. My Instagram's awesome.
No,
I
it's
am Dr.
it's very
Daniel.
good. It's and they're short, sweet, but to the point. And I mean, I've heard a lot of fluff out there. You're giving very valuable information. So people,
Yeah,
you
I,
know, yeah.
I put a lot into it. It's a lot. It's just like thank you, Roy. I appreciate that. There's a lot goes in. There's a lot of content. If you want to learn, it's there. And then if you like there, go to the website. But I'd love to meet you someday, whoever it is that's listening, that's interested in crypto. Don't be afraid to educate yourself. That's all I say. Just educate yourself and then make your decision if you want to invest down the road after you're educated, right? Because you can't educate yourself if you don't even know anything about it.
No, exactly. Listen, Daniel, thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. I'll make sure I'll put all the links, including your Instagram and other social medias, in both the audio and the video. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Roy. It's been an absolute pleasure, my man.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
so
Hope you
that's
have a
all.
great day. Yeah,
You
thank you to
too.
all your listeners. Thank you for your time, and looking forward to meeting some of you if you choose to reach out.
Yeah, no problem. So that's all for the Crypto Podcast. You'll find our episodes on cryptopodcast.org. Be sure to comment because even with what we touched on there, the inheritance and everything, maybe you've got better ideas as well that you'd like to share and just comment on the different things. Because once you're not abusive, all the comments stay up. Until next week, take care. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. As mentioned at the start, you'll find my 6 podcasts on bio.link/podcaster. And also, if you'd like to start a podcast or do a podcasting tour, you'll find the information on that or on the QR code that's there. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, 5-star rating, and share with your friends because it really helps. And also, I'd like to thank DanielPackard.com, helping people with fear, doubt, and anxiety. He's got a 90% success rate and he's only charging if he helps you. So be sure to check him out and you get a free call to discuss everything. Until next week, take care.